Hello, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays. I'm Eric Hill. I'm the director of Project Echelon, and I'm here with Dr. Mike Brooks. And we are here today to talk about the impact of seasonal change and the holiday season on mental health. And so this is our third edition of the Project Echelon mental health webinar series. And for this edition, and possibly for editions going forward based on your feedback, we're just changing up the format a little bit. In the past, we had a little bit more academic setting where Mike was sharing some content with us, really just trying to help us define what is mental health, what does that mean, and how do we identify with it ourselves. And knowing that we have to be able to identify it and define it before we can take action on it. And so we did a wonderful job of that, and we decided, hey, let's try a different format. Let's see if we can engage people in a different way, maybe reach a new audience. And we thought that this time of year was especially timely to talk about the topic at hand. Again, looking at seasonal change, looking at holidays, and how that impacts us, and what can we do with that, when the proverbial door starts closing or the lights start to dim, what can we do to right the ship and to address that before it becomes a downward spiral scenario. So Mike, thanks for joining us again today. Really appreciate it. And this is a topic that's especially important to our veteran population, but really to just everybody in general. I think seasonal change, shortened daylight hours, holidays can really wear on you.
Yes.
Over the course of those months. So
Yeah.
excited to dig in. And
Yeah.
I know you got some talking points, so I'll let you kick off.
Oh, cool, man. And thanks again to you and Project Echelon for allowing me to hang out. This is fun for me. So I'm chomping at the bit. And I've done a similar talk like this for holidays. I've done it for a few churches, how to make peace during the holidays, where families are in the same space and things stop being so familial. Someone is not allowed to make potato salad anymore. Someone's not allowed to cook certain dishes. True story, this really happened. I had my best friend fried a turkey. And if you ever fried a turkey before, you hate to pull it out. It needs to sit.
Yeah, you can't put it in there freezing. No.
Well, when you get done frying it,
Okay.
it needs to sit for about an hour and a half before you can eat it. And so he fried it early in the morning, let it sit, and his mother-in-law, I guess she woke up out of bed, saw the turkey sitting on the counter and didn't think it was done and put it in the oven and totally zapped, dried the turkey.
Yeah.
And probably ruined Thanksgiving that year. So that happens. All that happens. And on top of that, you have to change the seasons. You're saying goodbye to summer. You're saying hello to fall. You got your pumpkin spice lattes, your sweater weather, your rain boots. So these changes period can be difficult. So we just have some suggestions and some thoughts that I wanted to launch out and just kick around on how you can maintain good mental health during the holidays. The biggest change, or I'll say like one of the earliest changes are the loss in sunlight. So we fall back, we lose our daylight savings time, and so we're in a season now where it's darker earlier and it's darker when we wake up. So just the absence of light is a lack of vitamin D. Some people are energized by the sun naturally. Some people don't like clouds. I know you're in Wisconsin. I'm in North Carolina. Yesterday, you could see the sun beaming through here, but yesterday it was totally overcast, very, very, very low hanging fog all day. It was a stay at home day. It was a good day to wrap up and just stay put. Whereas in Florida, where I'm from, it was 90 degrees, beaming sunlight. So that whole less sunlight is just a huge change. Riding groups can't ride in the morning. Riding groups really can't ride in the evening. and so the windows are tighter to when you want to get out and do something. So I typically shift sports when the fall comes. I typically do more indoor activity. I swim more. Um, my knees can't handle the pounding of a jog, and then I weight train more. So that is something to consider, something to just think about.
Yeah, that's interesting too. Like you're talking about, it's shorter on both ends of the stick. And we had a veteran this past week start a conversation on our on our Facebook page about like what is everybody's routine and how do you adjust your routines? Because for me, if I don't work out in the morning, I am not myself. I don't have the energy. I'm not a pleasant person. I struggle to stay motivated for the rest of the day. And then as the day wanes on, I come up with excuses to not do the work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I, I think that, not only that lesser daylight, but also the forced shift in routines, or like you having to reevaluate what your routine is and what makes your clock tick every day. And then, if it's the sun rising, well, that's not going to work for you anymore. You got to find something else.
Yeah, yeah. Or let me reframe and say, are we so inflexible that it has to be this particular type of exercise, or can we have a little bit of forgiveness and just say, as long as I'm moving, as long as I'm just activating the slow and fast twitch, as long as I'm just doing something, can that really be enough?
Mm-hmm.
Is that really? I mean, I can play enough basketball to where I can sweat and burn calories just as just as much as I would if I was doing some other activity outside. But
Mm-hmm.
can I live with that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably another bigger point is the pressure to have to feel like you're still performing at the same level, and that needs to be addressed, because pressure is what leads to everything breaking down, especially if you're doing this time sensitive type of workout. I have to work out 20 hours a week. I have to work out 15 hours a week. Then it becomes even um, more stressful. And I think there are some substitutes. Well, let me even go back further because I should have said this at the beginning. You and I spoke about extending grace if possible. We're still living in a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
We're still very much living with restrictions with our movement and our ability. So I think, if there were a big chill out button, that would need to be activated now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some folks are just doing good to be able to go to a gym,
Yep.
to be able to
Do a workout at home.
work,
Yeah.
yeah, work out at home. Yeah, because if you don't have the means to set up a home gym or the creativity, um, then you're like self isolating, and then even further isolating yourself because you've lost whatever elements you thought you had before. So
Mm-hmm.
that's maybe that should be points 1 and 2 in and of itself. Recall, remember that there's a pandemic going on, and some grace and relief needs to be considered.
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly, be aware of the pressure to have to perform. There's a such thing as a fall pace. There's a such thing as a fall uh, uh, performance schedule that takes into account you're wearing heavier clothes and your movements are restricted, and because it's cold, things may not move as fluidly as they have before. So everyone else around you is, and I'd say the proverbial you, not you in particular, Eric, is allowing you some space to chill out. It's just up to the individual to decide that I'm worthy of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes we just hold it, we hold ourselves to higher standards than what's necessary. And there's a time and a place for that. But, you know, is that right now? Is that today? And maybe there is certain days of the week where you just say like, hey, my days where I don't flex are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And the other days, I just know I got to be a little bit flexible. My schedule might change. For me, I know that that's how I have to do it with the holidays. because we travel. Our family doesn't live, here.
Right.
So I'm not trying to bring my bike to Florida and, do that and extend give up family time when I'm there. Like, so I have to find something else to do.
And there's a such thing as balance. There's a such thing as being with people in a non-competitive, active form that's also good for your mental health
Hmm.
and allows you the space to detox so that when you do have to perform, you're able to tap into that. Um, I don't know about you, but when there's chaos at home, my work life tends to suffer.
Hmm.
But when my home life is stable, then I'm able to focus on my work with greater intensity.
Hmm.
So it's okay to take a step back. It's okay to just say, not so much today. 400, 500 miles a week may have to get chopped down to 100, a strong 150. And that's okay because it's not going to last forever and you're still moving. Um, you're not going to zero. You're just going to adapt for the sign of the times.
Yep.
Um, we kind of mentioned holidays. Again, holidays impact mental health because holidays also contribute to time restrictions, and time being consumed, um, where traditionally that would be with other things. And holidays can mean different things to different folks.
Hmm.
You mentioned family, traveling, and some people may not want to be with their family as much during the holidays. So all of that can affect where you are. So rather than to get into the good family vibes, bad family vibes, I kind of would say, generally speaking, just mind your feelings and do what needs to be um, done so that you're able to be stable. So if you have to take your bike, if that's what's going to keep you stable, um, then go ahead and do it. I know I tend to implant my own brakes when I go visit certain relatives. What does that mean? I'm always signing up to make the food run. I'm always that guy. I'm always going to be say, hey, someone left something at the grocery store. I'll go. I'll do it. Glad to do it. It gets me out of the house. It gets me out and about with other people. I can take a detour and get a coffee. I can take an even bigger detour and go visit someone else. But I'm always going to be that person. My wife and I have a tradition that every Christmas Day we go to the movies. Again, that just gets us out. That keeps us active. So I think depending on where you are with your family, um, do what needs to be done so that you're able to keep yourself stable. If you need to avoid certain topics, then avoid them.
Hmm.
If you need to avoid certain people, then show up late, leave early. Um, if that's unavoidable, then consider where you're going to stay during the holidays. Maybe you need to get a hotel. Maybe you need to shorten that visit up. But mind your feelings, and I would say honor your feelings, because you're no good to anyone if the relationship is going to be damaging and you come out damaged as a result.
Hmm. Well, it comes back to, again, what you and I were talking about before we started the recording here was giving yourself grace, like giving
Mhm.
yourself permission to take care of yourself. Um, and that can take so many forms, but that might mean time to yourself. That might mean space. That might mean honoring relationships. That might mean routine, like honoring routines that keep you stable. But it's okay. Like, so many people, I feel like during the holidays they give, and they forget to give to themselves a little bit too.
Yeah.
um, like, ask yourself every day, what have I done to improve myself or to give back to myself today?
Yes. Yes. The holidays should not be stressful, and I don't want to come across as sounding too FM stereotype, but that just means be nice to yourself, whatever that means. If Christmas shopping is a hassle for you, put in your favorite restaurant somewhere along the Christmas shopping fiasco. If money is tight, then make your own gifts. I mean, there are a ton of ideas to maintain your sanity during the holidays, and I think all the financial experts have always said people inappropriately and unhealthily spend and waste energy during the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
So I've the older I get, the more intentional I am about practicing good holiday ethic. So I would seriously push that onto anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else do we have? Seasonal affective disorder. Now, this one may be a little academic.
That's okay. I'm okay with that.
All right.
I'm actually really curious because I personally I don't think I struggle with it, but I definitely notice like I have to motivate myself in different ways as the seasons change. And I'm sure that there's a direct impact, because of the actual chemistry and the things that happen within my body, but then also with like how far away competition is and the holidays and those types of things too. So this is a topic I'm actually really interested in.
Cool. So just for statistical purposes, the Northwest has the highest concentration of seasonal affective disorder cases. So that is your Seattle and Portland, Oregon areas. I believe Portland, Oregon had 65 days of full sunlight last year. So that means 300 days a year, there will be some type of precipitation. Um, Portland is a place where the sun disappears. Seattle's a place where the sun disappears in the fall and winter and sometimes early spring months. So you just don't see any sun. You just go days and days and days of fog and rain. So this disorder or this condition um, used to be called seasonal depression, but in the DSM-5, names have changed. So seasonal affective disorder affects about 5% of Americans.
Is that
Doctors
it,
think,
really?
mhm,
I'm
about five.
surprised. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people probably self-diagnose.
That's a
That
big number. 5% is a pretty big number.
is it.
5% of 300 million. That's still pretty big.
What percent of people suffer from, depression, like
So
clinical depression?
yeah, good question. Probably everyone has depressed moments.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but depression, the diagnosis needs to be in effect at least 30 days, and then you need to have depressed symptoms thereafter. That number is always growing. So I think it's about a quarter of the population may have some type of depression, some type of diagnosable depression. I'll say it
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Okay.
And those numbers are changing due to COVID. So they're probably closer to 50% of the population having some form of depression now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so doctors think that SAD, seasonal affective disorder, is related to light levels of change outside. Some people develop seasonal affective disorder during the summer months. So its causes are poorly understood. So you can get SAD in the summer, you can get it in the fall, you can get it whenever, but it's really during the changes of the season. Um, Seasonal affective disorder can be treated with therapy, light outdoor activity, and sometimes medication. So, what is it exactly? So, depression is really marked by a depressed mood more days than not for 30 days. So, depressed mood is extreme sadness, lethargy, um, negative thoughts, and in some cases, there may be talks of doing harm to oneself. So they're like 5, maybe even 7 uh, qualifiers, and you need to hit all of them within 30 days. And then you need to have some presence of them thereafter.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and that's not totally accurate because I'm giving out a very condensed version of the disorder
Yep.
diagnostic criteria, but that's what it comes down to. Now, what I said earlier was everyone has some type of depressed mood, though. So let's say, are you depressed if you act like this for 2 weeks? Probably. And so you need to be treated as such.
Hmm.
Um, and that needs to be taken into account. So what do you do when you find yourself depressed? Oh, first of all, how do you know you are? I think the people around you will start to say some things. I
Hmm.
think, again, you mind your feelings. You know if you're depressed. You know if you don't feel like getting out of bed. You know if you're a generally upbeat person and so your tone switches, then that's due to something. And then people will comment and say, you seem a little down, you seem a little out, you seem this. And if people are saying this over and over for consistently, then there could be something there. So these are things that are legitimate. Um, the easiest thing to do if you're able to really push through this is to make some changes in what you're doing currently. Um, so again, something that's easy as turning on all the lights in your house. Just literally, I'm gonna change the mood in my setting. Um, it could be a difference maker.
Yeah.
Um, Find sunshine. If you can't find sunshine, then find a place where there's going to be a change in the mood. Again, we said this is a mood disorder, so I need to up the mood. Um,
Real,
and that
real quick with the sunshine piece, I've heard people that uh, have been diagnosed with this say um, that they've been prescribed tanning booths. Like, hey, go to the. Is that a thing?
I've heard that too. Yeah,
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 like just go because you talked about how it might be related to vitamin D or just like the warmth of sunshine radiating on your skin
hmm,
and the calming nature that can bring to you.
yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. And that's really the. This is I have to be careful about what I'm saying. These are some recommendations for some very treatable forms. The more intense forms would probably involve some medication.
Sure.
The
Yeah.
medication is not a cure-all. It just makes it easier for you to get motivated to do the next step.
Hmm.
So you still need to get out and do something. Exercise is great for treating depression. Exercise just detox everything. Diet is also great for treating depression. If you feel sluggish, you'll act sluggish. If you eat better foods that don't cause you to feel sluggish, then you probably will not have as much depression. Group interaction is also good. Um, when we were grad students, we used to always say join a volleyball club if you want to treat depression. And I know that's cheeky and minimizing to a certain degree, but the group interaction helps people
Yeah.
to to talk and engage, and groups are accountable. Again, Eric, you seem a little upbeat today. Tell me about that, as opposed to Eric, you're not. And if we stay with this volleyball analogy, part of a team, the team needs you. The team is going to look to you for some aspect of helping us function, so you can divert your attention away from the doom and gloom, woe is me
Hmm.
position. And so there's a lot to be said about that. Um, but yeah, seasonal depression is another aspect of the holidays or during this holiday period that we may want to take into account.
With seasonal depression, and this might be a totally different topic, but does that have anything to do with like your circadian rhythms and sleep cycles and the fact that those change with the seasons as well? Or um,
I've heard that. I can't confirm that.
yeah.
I would say, sleep is crucial to vulnerability.
Hmm.
Um, uh, uh, in this whole less light time change situation, I know I tend to suffer when I change the times. My whole house tends to be a little off. my soon to be 6-year-old daughter still goes to bed at the same time. Um, than when we changed the clocks,
Yeah,
because
so
we had,
she's going to bed at 7:30
yeah,
now,
yeah,
even though, yeah, got
yeah.
it.
She's supposed to go to bed at 8:30, but man, she's struggling to make it. She's like zonking out.
Yeah.
So um, time sleeping definitely makes a difference,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no way around that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it all, when you go to a restaurant, it's not just the food, it's the service and it's the presentation. So it's not just the sleep or the sunlight
Yeah.
or the exercise or the
See.
season. It's probably all of it
Mm-hmm.
that contributes. It's also about where you are as an individual and your vulnerability. Again, if your house is in order, if your finances are in order, you know, then that makes you a whole lot more durable to the seasons per se.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're living in a pandemic and money is tight and things at home are stressful, then it makes sense for you to be depressed when the seasons change.
Mm-hmm.
So I think again, you have to look at the bigger picture, and as much, if you want to bring about some type of change, you can change some small things and they may have big impacts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for me, I mean, the biggest things that I'm taking away from today so far is um, we're in a season of change for a lot of reasons. And it's really not our job, or it's not even really required of us to try to pinpoint what it is. It's as simple as us trying to figure out what makes us feel good, and think positively about ourselves, and about the people around us and about our experiences every day, and replicating that. So if that's a change in routine a little bit, if that's giving yourself a little extra me time, if that's flipping the lights on in your house, right? Like I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I mean, when it gets dark out, I only got two lights on in the house. It's kind of gloomy. So
Yeah.
maybe, yeah, right. But like extend yourself grace and figure out, what is it that that gives me positive vibes and allows me to think positively about myself and the way I interact with others. And do that for yourself. Be willing to take that step.
I failed to mention this. I'll do it today, and I meant to say it even a few sessions ago. Make a gratitude list, and you don't have to write it down. Just make one in your head. That typically will set you straight really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Just make a gratitude list, and even if you start to self doubt the gratitude list, keep on writing.
Mm-hmm.
Keep on writing that list. I'm I feel fairly confident that unless you're without shelter and without food, you probably won't be a part of Project Echelon in the first place. But more than likely, if you're a part of Project Echelon, your gratitude list is going to be phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And you can probably show that list to a lot of people who would love to be in your shoes. So,
Yeah.
I mean, again, if we could change the perspective, then I think you're starting to knock down those depressive walls.
Yeah. Asset based, not deficit based.
Always asset based.
Yeah.
Give me solutions. Don't give me any problems.
Yeah. No, I like that. That's there. You solved all the problems right there with that. With that, I think that's what I'm going to do this morning. I told you as a little nose to the grindstone this past several weeks before we got on the call today. So I think I may do that for myself. I appreciate that one.
I do it. It helps me go to sleep at night.
There you go.
That's actually one of the keys to good sleep is to make a gratitude list until you
Till you fall asleep.
till you fall asleep. You keep making the gratitude list. You focus on I mean, kind of off topic, but similar. There's a way in which you can program your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to prevent nightmares, and we do this with children, is we tell them to focus on positive things. So counting sheep, you want the sheep to be friendly sheep, nice, good looking, puffy,
we don't want
yeah,
fangs on our teeth.
yeah,
Yeah, on our
no,
teeth.
not those sheep. Nice sheep. But a gratitude list is what we would tell an adult, especially. What are the things that you're thankful for? What are the things that you are excited about? And usually, once you get going, you realize there's a lot there. And
Mhm.
the way the mind works, you kind of create an image of each thing, and then you focus on it, and you slowly fall deeper and deeper until you're in a sleep state.
I love that. Huh. Well, I think that that's a beautiful place for us to be able to stop and like make a call to action to people, right? Like, hey, we're heading into Thanksgiving. You may be feeling one way or another. And our challenge to you is to make a gratitude list and then identify one thing that makes you you and makes you, helps your clock tick, keeps you in a positive state of mind, and be willing to do that for yourself so that you can share your positivity with others, because other people might be struggling in the same way you are, and your attitude certainly influences theirs. So if you can do those two things, that might have a much bigger impact on you and on others than you might realize.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
I
I think
think
uh, I think that's a good holiday to-do list.
I can dig it.
Beautiful. Um, well, Mike, do you have any closing remarks? Anything you want to end with? Otherwise, we can close out, and definitely want to wish you and your family a wonderful Thanksgiving and holiday season.
Same to you, Eric. Thank you so much again.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I'm hoping that people enjoyed this format. I know I appreciated the conversation and the dialogue and ability to just dig deeper and probably even address some misconceptions. I threw some things your way that kind of came out of left field, like tanning boosts today, but it's always good to be able to address again misconceptions or things that you hear and see if there's
Sure,
any truth behind that. So I appreciate
sure.
you fielding those for me.
No, no problem. And if there are any questions, hit me up. I'll respond. I love this.
Yep. And Mike is, for our veterans out there, he is on our community page. So if you tag him, he would be able to see any questions that you have and engage in some dialogue with you.
Yeah, don't mind my thumb typing. But yeah,
All right. Well, thank you, sir. Happy holidays to you. Be well. And thank you for sharing your knowledge with us.
no problem.
All
Y'all
right.
take care.